In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to make a dancing man made of liquid, as you can see over here. This is kind of done in slow-mo, but you could decide how you want to do it. Right, let's get into it. First thing we want to do is go into Blender. Close that. Alright, I'm going to create a new file. File, new, and by the way, you can make it more realistic by having, I'll show you how as well. Right, so the first thing you have is your default cube. Press tab to go into edit mode. Press G to grab, press Z to lock it to the Z axis and press 1. Then press tab to go into object mode, and now if we press numpad 1, we've got it perfectly there. So now when we press S5 to scale, it stays on the red line. We're going to create a new collection. We're going to call this collection domain, and we're going to put this cube in that collection. You can rename this cube the domain. And then we can click wireframe mode with X-ray turned on, and we're going to press Shift D, right click, S, Z. And we're going to bring this one down to about there. We're going to zoom in, and we have to make sure that this doesn't touch the domain. S, G, Z, and we are good. That should be more than enough for this to work. Perfect. And create a new collection. We're going to call this collection flow. We're going to have two flow elements. One would be this, and the other would be that animated man. And we can call this liquid base, I guess. And right, so now the next thing is, how do we get that man? Well, the place I went to was, if you go to Maximo, I just went to Maximo, created a free account, cost me absolutely no money. And I downloaded a character dance movement. In fact, I downloaded this one, the jazz dancing on default character. That's all I used. Once you've got that downloaded, let's go back into Blender. You go to File, Import, and you'll choose FBX because that's what you've downloaded. And you will find it in the file where you downloaded it, which would be for me over here. And I'll import that character, and just like that, we've got this character. Now if I press S and scale this puppy up, I'll do it now quickly to make it nice and big. Something like that should do. GX. There we go. The next thing I need to do, we could possibly make it a little bit bigger. Actually, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's big enough. Right, the next thing I want to do is press GY. Let's bring it back to about there, and I'm just going to play this animation to see how far in the future this animation goes, so I can adjust the domain correctly, which is about there. Okay, so I'm going to press S, Y, select this SY, and there you have it. Let's go back to frame 1, tab, stay in object mode, numpad 1. The next thing we want to do is, well, we've got our flows and we've got our domain. Now all we need to do is set up the physics. So let's go to the liquid base, go to the physics properties, fluid, and click on flow. And this one's going to be a liquid, and we'll leave it on geometry, and that's perfect. Next thing we want to do is select the animated character we got here. So we have to open this up, click on this, hold in shift, click on this, and press Ctrl J to make it one object. So all the elements are just one object. So now all we need to do is go to the physics properties, fluid, flow, liquid, and this time we're going to make this an inflow. And you probably want to up this to at least 5, if not greater. And after that, once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is select this over here, which we've called domain, and click fluid, domain, liquid, and you want the resolution to be a minimum. For example, the example I gave was 150, but if you have a decent computer, try 500. The higher the resolution, the better the quality this is going to look. The other thing you want to up is this. I wouldn't do less than 10 over here. Oh, sorry. Let's make this 0.5 the time scale. That's what I did in my tutorial. But the time step maximum, this is the maximum number of simulation steps to perform for one frame, and I wouldn't make this less than 10, or I wouldn't have it less than 10. So if you want it higher than 10, go for it. And I wouldn't make the minimum less than 5, so that the quality of the liquid just looks better. The other thing to pay attention to, which is crucial, which I'll show you once my potato PC comes round, because I'm using just a laptop at the moment, there we go, is this over here. This is your voxel. This voxel needs to be small enough or smaller than the foot, the tiptoe, for example, if you want it to have a lot of detail. The larger this is, the less detail that's why the resolution is 150. If you up the resolution, that obviously only gets smaller. Once you've got this all set, all you need to do now is scroll down, click mesh, and we know that this animation is about 150 frames, so we press 150, and maybe we make a whole scene time frame 150. Turn on resumable and change this to either modular or all. In this case, I'm going to select all, and then you'll bake it all in. But I'm going to leave it on replay for a second just to demonstrate one thing to you quickly. One thing worth paying attention to, if we change this to, let's say, 32, which I think is the default, there's only enough resolution for this to be the liquid. It looks nothing like a human. If you double this to 64, you'll notice that now you've got this area, but you don't even have the feet yet. Now if you make this, for example, 200, let's just do 500 quickly. Unfortunately, my PC could not do 500, it crashed. But you get the idea. The higher the resolution, the more detail. If you want these fingertips to get caught, you want 500 resolution, which means you need probably at least 32 to 64 gigs of RAM, because I've got 16 gigs of RAM on this PC. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.